All right, welcome to another episode. This episode is going to be about WWE. I'm making this episode because today has been, I've seen a lot of arguing back and forth. There's been a big debate about The Miz. Is he awesome or is he a bum? There's been some people who said he has been lucky. My co-host James from Talk Wrestling with Jimmy and Frank said he's got lucky. He was the right time and at the right place. We'll see about that. We'll talk more about that later. Another topic of interest that has been raging for the last couple of years is Triple H and his future status with WWE. Many feel he's going to take over and things will get much better once Vince steps down as CEO. Everybody loves NXT. Triple H is a genius. He has brought a fresh breath of air to WWE and wrestling in general. We'll touch on that, and I want to review briefly this week's StoneCold Podcast with D.Ambrose. It was one of the better ones, in my opinion. It's the first night. I don't watch it live. A lot of people online said it was awkward, so I just had to see for myself, and I watched it, and there was a lot of little tidbits that came out that were very interesting, and we're going to talk about those. But so now let's begin with The Miz. He has played a heel now for 10 years, and there's a general consensus among wrestling fans that he's not that good. I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest Miz fan. That's for sure. When he won the WWE title in 2010, I, like everybody, was surprised. I mean, but that was the era where talent and star power was lacking. I mean, besides Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, who the following year would emerge, WWE suffered through a lack of talent. But they did try to build new stars. Contrary to belief, they put the title on Jack Swagger. They put the title on Miz. Alberto Del Rio came. So they tried, but people are so dissatisfied with The Miz. I mean, he's like I mentioned before, he's got a decade now, a decade strong into the business, and people still haven't taken him serious. Is this a case of The Miz playing his character and role too good? I'm starting to think so. First of all, The Miz, his character is exactly what people complain about. He's a chicken shit. He's a wimp who gets lucky, slips on a banana peel, and always winds up winning the match. He always winds up getting the gold, and he doesn't even know how he did it. He was in the right spot at the right time. That's how he's been booked. He is charismatic. People say he's not charismatic. Oh, and they say because he gets people boo him, and he gets heat. That's a negative reaction. Is not a real reaction. I don't understand that. The guy's been getting booed for 10 years. If it was fraudulent and it was go away heat, as the lingo says, people would have stopped reacting to him. I mean, come on, give the guy some credit. This guy's been doing this for 10 years now, from 2006. And I'm going to quickly read off his resume and his bio, and really this is ridiculous. I think this is just a case of the Miz playing his character and really making marks out of fans. I mean, listen, I myself, I confess, I think he's a scrawny wimp. He looks like a guy that anybody could, that the regular Joe could beat up. And now he married Maurice, and people get jealous of that. But listen, the number one rule in the business is you got to give a reaction. Go away heat is that people are booing you because they don't want to see you because you suck. Listen, that'll last for a few months. In the case of Roman Reigns, they're booing him not because he sucks, because they don't want to see him in that role. That's why he gets that type of heat. But the Miz is getting booed. He's getting the heat because he's playing his role good. Again, I'll say it, he's a chicken shit. He's a divo, the male diva, and now he's teamed up with his wife, the ultimate diva, and he walks around with the belt, with the IC belt. He's always in the right time. Right, he always winds up in the right place at the right time. He doesn't really do any damage in the ring in the beginning, but somehow, some way, he comes on top. All right, so now I'm going to quickly move on here because I actually had to go through this and look it up. As we all know, Mike Mizanin, and I remember this because these are my days when my tail end days when I used to watch MTV. He started in the real world, back to New York in 2001, and back then he had dreams of becoming a wrestler. He would wrestle on the show, act a fool. I mean, this was his. See, this right here has been his number one detractor in the business. People don't take him serious because he started a reality show. Hey, listen, that's leaps and bounds above what every other most aspiring pro wrestlers start. Most aspiring pro wrestlers are nobodies who work for $10 or $20 on the weekend if they're lucky for years and years, and nobody knows who they are. At least this guy got on a popular reality show at the time. This is the beginning of reality TV back then. He got on a major show on MTV. I mean, he had to audition for that. He wasn't just handed that. So that's right there. That's been his biggest attraction in wrestling. That he started off in a reality show. Okay, he was a young guy. He wanted he showed his love, his passion for wrestling on the reality show. You could see him conceive the character of the Miz on the show. If you go back and ever watch it, and then he kept starring it. He started the spin-off show, the Real World Rules. So obviously, they liked him. He has a camera presence, and he still had passion for the business. And then, of course, another detraction. He auditioned for Tough Enough, which was pretty much a WWE game show in the early 2000s. And MTV, I think that was also shown on MTV. I'm not sure. I think the first one was definitely shown on MTV, the original MTV, the first season. But this was the fourth season that the Miz started. And again, what's wrong with that? This is another detraction. Oh, he started on the Tough Enough. Hey, he's trying to get his foot in the door. He wasn't the only one there. And he was a runner-up. He didn't even win. So they had to see something in him to keep him around. If I'm not mistaken, I think I don't know who won that season. I'll put up a note at the end of the video. But then, I mean, so far he's been on the Real World, Real World, the spinoff. He auditioned for Tough Enough, became runner up. He's auditioning. They don't just give you these parts because he's lucky, because it's timing. No, he made the auditions, he got the shots, and he got a runner up. And then from Tough Enough as a runner up, he trained, he continued his training. He went to the Indies, he went to Ultimate Pro Wrestling, Deep South Wrestling, and then his last stop before jumping to the main roster, WWE, was OVW. That's the same place where all those legends that we have now that have come to the WWE. Jim Cornette, that was Jim Cornette's territory. Brock Lesnar, Batista, Wade Barrett, I mentioned John Cena, Randy Orton. I mean, that was NXT before NXT. Well, actually, Florida Championship Wrestling, but OVD was a legit. That was a legit developmental territory. That was, if that was the minor leagues, that would be AAA. That would be a AAA minor league level. I remember people who were on the low card in WWE roster were getting sent to OVW to get repackaged and retrained. But anyway, I don't want to keep going on and on and on, because the few people who do watch these videos, their attention spans are like goldfish. They can't pay attention for more than 8 seconds. And I mean, it's not like I don't make sense when I make these videos. I mean, I don't hit it out of the park, but one thing about my videos is just what my channel says. You're going to get insight. I'm going to analyze, and we're going to go in depth. I make original material. Me. I don't put highlights or pictures of already copyrighted stuff. Sorry about that. So anyway, in 2007, he debuted in 2006. He quickly teamed up with, he went on, they started him off hot. He went on a 3-month undefeated streak. So they saw something in him. He didn't just come in and job. They saw something in him. Somebody somewhere in WWE saw something. It was a producer, a road agent, whoever. They saw something. And then they teamed him with John Morrison. They won the WWE Tag Team Championships, the World Tag Championships. Then in 2009, he went to Raw. This is when he broke off from John Morrison. He won the US his first singles title, the US title, and then 2010 they pushed him, and that was his year. He started off one of the more memorable tag teams, Showbiz. He teamed up with Big Show. They won the unified title, and he got a second reign. He won the second US championship. Money in the Bank that year, he won it. They gave it to him. They saw something in him. Again, I don't understand where people see luck. The Miz was getting over. He got himself over. I remember watching this. He got himself over and broke away from John Morrison. And I'll never forget the promo he cut. He compared them to the Rockers. He said, the Miz said, I'm Shawn Michaels and you're Marty Jannetty. And he's right. Where's John Morrison now? On Lucha Underground? He's working comedy clubs? Come on. So he cashed in November 2012, 10 against Randy Orton. He won the title, the WWE title. That's the highest title you could win. Just think of all the names. There's few names in history who have held that title. The San Martinos, the Backlunds, the Hogans, the Harts, the Shawn Michaels, the Triple H's, the Undertakers, on and on and on. They don't just give that to any schmo. Okay? I don't care how good the timing is or whatever. And that's another thing about this timing. He's in the right place at the right time. In the 80s, people said the same thing about Hulk Hogan. No, I'm not comparing Hulk Hogan to The Miz. I'd be an idiot to do that. But when Hulkamania started, the people in the wrestling business and the smarks said Hulk Hogan was an abomination to the business. He was nothing but an oiled up, tanned, muscled beach blonde that couldn't wrestle. He didn't know. He didn't know how to do. All he did was a leg drop. People used to make fun of that finishing move. They used to call it the worst finishing move in history, in the history of the business. Okay. They said the same thing about Hulk Hogan that they say that people are implying about The Miz. At the right time. Of course, it's all about the right time. That's what life is about, being at the right place at the right time. And then he's seizing the opportunity. But anyway, as we know, when he won the title, he held it for 6 months, went on to main event WrestleMania, defeated Cena, even though, yes, we know that was just to set up the main event for next year, WrestleMania 28, with The Rock and Cena. The Rock distracted Cena, and The Miz capitalized. Okay, we know this. We know. We never claimed that The Miz was a world beater. We never claimed he was the beast. Okay, we know this, but he got the booking. He was drawing money. What do you think? There's complete idiots running WWE. They just gave this guy an opportunity to put him on TV every week and put the title on him. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. So anyway, this guy, after 2000, he was voted. This is another thing. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which is one of the most respected pro wrestling mags of all time, in their yearly top 500 issue, they voted The Miz number one. Number one. Go Google Pro Wrestling Illustrated PWI 500 and go see the list of wrestlers who've been ranked number one. Okay, you tell me if that's a fluke, or if they're not a valid magazine. Because if The Miz is not a valid number one, then a lot of your favorite number ones are not valid either. Okay, so let's put an end to that. But I'm gonna close this out with this segment and read you off The Miz's accomplishments and championships. He's won 14 championships in WWE. He's the 25th Triple Crown champion in history, in the company history. He is the 14th Grand Slam champion, which means he's held every title the company has had during his tenure. He has won. He's had hot angles. Just recently, he had that hot angle with the Hollywood A-listers with Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow did steal the show, but still, it was The Miz. And that's another thing. Everybody The Miz gets close with, they take off. If I'm not mistaken, was it Daniel Bryan, The Miz's rookie for NXT? I'm pretty sure that the Miz is he was Daniel Bryan's pro. And now, as we see, he's the IC champ. His wife Maurice, WWE gave The Miz Maurice as a heater, and boy, they're both doing a great job. Maurice, her comeback in WWE, she's doing a fantastic job. She's doing her job well. Maybe besides, she's giving Lana a run for female heel right now. Doing a great job. And now you say, did he get lucky? Listen, This is wrestling. Not the toughest guy wins. Not the greatest talent wins. Everybody's got to stop with this. This guy is talented, and this guy does this move, and Cesaro does all these moves. It's about fan appeal. And you say Cesaro's over. Okay, but is he over? Do we know the numbers on TV when he's on? Are people fast forwarding his matches when he's on? I don't think so because they keep putting him on TV. But Cesaro's only going to go so far. Once he starts winning, then I don't know. I think I understand what Vince McMahon meant on the StoneCold podcast when he said he just doesn't know about connecting. Yes, he is popular. We all know that. But right now, Cesaro has been in WWE for 5 years. He's a jobber. That's all he is. Stop waiting for this push. He's been repackaged, rebooked, revamped. He's been a Heyman guy. He's been he was with Zeb Coulter, with We the People. This guy's been in 100 different characters and angles. Yes, he gets over, but I don't know. I don't see him. Do you actually see him winning the WWE title and coming out there and talking and opening a show? And I don't know, man. There's something about him, man. Let me tell you, it's not his mic, his promo skills not that good. When he starts talking, I don't know. But right now, listen, reality is, and I don't want to digress, they see guys like Cesaro as a showman, feats of strength. He does this. He's a tremendously gifted worker, a great worker. But being a great worker isn't the whole thing. Okay? Any smart, real smart fan will know that and say yes to that. Okay? It's not just gotta develop your character. You could have 500 moves. You could do shooting star presses off the top of the steel cage. Nobody cares about that. It's a highlight. But anyway, so yes, I say the Miz, kayfabe, he is awesome. He plays his role excellent. And this guy, I forgot about his television and film resume. Yeah, he hasn't been in real good movies or whatever. But how many movies have you done? How many movies have other wrestlers done? They'd kill to star in a movie. This guy, if you go look at his bio, he has been on TV and film for going on 15 years now. Okay? The guy's stayed relevant. He evolves. Okay? So that's that with the Miz. He is awesome. And like it or not, he's a future Hall of Famer. So now the next debate was about Triple H. And I touched on this in one of my other videos about NXT and how Triple H, he's a genius. Okay, listen. I give Triple H credit. He was charged with overseeing NXT, which is the WWE's developmental territory. That's all it is. It's a developmental territory. Okay, it's a small brand because it's gotten really popular in the last 3 years. It's hot. It's become hot. Okay, but and there's big buts here. Okay, the pro Triple H point is, he signed so many guys, he signed so many stars, he scouted talent and this, are you kidding me? You make it sound like he scoured the earth went on the rocks, went into Indochina under rice bowls, and like Marcellus Wallace, and found guys and signed them and brought them back here. Who did he sign? That me or you didn't when it signed? He signed everybody we wanted them to sign. For years we were screaming, "Oh, Frank! Well, that's because Vince didn't sign him and Triple H were out there." Who do you think's giving him the money? Who do you think's giving him the okay? It's Vince's money. It's not Triple H's money. It's not Triple H's territory. It's WWE. Triple H, a genius. Who did he sign? That's been that nobody saw, nobody knew about. That was an undiscovered talent that Triple H signed, and now is on the main roster, or is about to be on the main roster. That's going to make a huge impact. He signed Seth Rollins, Tyler Black. He signed D.Ambrose. He signed Hideo Tommy, whatever the hell his name is. He signed he signed the TNA the TNA free agents, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Eric Young. He even signed James Storm for a cup of coffee that he left. He signed Shinsuke Nakamura. This guy was one of the biggest stars in Japan for years. Americans knew about him. He was popular in America before he even got here. Oh my God. He signed Kevin Owens. Wrestling fans who live outside the WWE bubble knew who Kevin Steen was long ago. Did Triple H know who he was? Or did he finally hear about him and sign him? If Triple H is a genius, how come he didn't sign Kevin Steen 4 years ago? 5 years ago? Oh, NXT wasn't around back then. You should have signed him to 2013. Kevin Steen was doing great work in the Indies. Ring of Honor, everywhere. He was doing great work. Why did it take so long? And now another thing. Besides Roman Reigns, who on the main roster or who on NXT is about to graduate or will graduate to the main roster who has started their career in NXT? Okay, I'll say that again. Besides Roman Reigns, which performer started in NXT? That means they were not they were okay, I'll give this. They were they just started in the Indies 1 or 2 years, 3 years, and Triple H signed them to NXT, and now they blossomed them and blew up. Oh, you're gonna probably say a few female wrestlers. Okay, maybe, yeah. That started at NXT. Okay, all right. Let's say male wrestlers. Okay, is Ava Marie? Okay, maybe Sasha Banks. I don't know. I don't know about her indie career. But besides Roman Reigns, who is on the main roster right now that started their career pretty much in NXT, or who in NXT is there right now on the roster that's pretty much gonna graduate? Real genius. I want to see how great NXT is when all these stars go up to the main roster. The roster's getting thin. If you notice, who do they have now? Samoa Joe, Nakamura. He's going to be there. He ain't staying there too long. He'll probably be on the roster by the end of the year. He'll probably debut in the Royal Rumble next year. Same with Joe. The American Alphas. Okay. I got to look at them to see if they started in NXT. But you get my drift. It's very far and few between. And this whole notion that Vince is senile, he doesn't know what he's doing. The man has ran WWE since 1982. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon, we wouldn't. I wouldn't be making this video. There wouldn't be wrestling pages right now. Vince McMahon can't watch every tape or event from all over the world. The guy's busy running the corporate side of his company. He's got bigger, better things. That's why he pays so many people. That's why he has so many people on his payroll to do this. It used to be him and Pat Patterson that used to do all this. They used to sign guys, bring them in, create characters for them, write the angles for the whole year going into WrestleMania. Book shows, do this, do that. Now you got 50 people doing the job of two, 3 people. The only thing about Vince is he's stubborn. He's stubborn as a damn mule. That's the only thing you can really say negative about him. The guy is stubborn as a mule. Okay? He likes to do things his way. It's his toy. It's his company. He trusts himself more than anybody else. You got to give it to him. He does bend. Eventually he does bend. He bended in 96, 97. He's starting to bend now. Okay? There's a lot of things Vince McMahon has done recently that a lot of people know. Who do you think? Whose idea was this? Go read Daniel Bryan's book. He says it in his book. Vince McMahon came up with that. He wanted to portray Daniel Bryan as the ultimate underdog. Okay, but this notion that Triple H is the savior of wrestling, the savior of WWE, and he's going to take over. Hit the brakes. You're forgetting a very important thing. Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon. They're going to run the company, not Triple H. When Vince steps down, Stephanie most likely is going to be the CEO. She's going to have the final say, not Triple H. I know you can say, oh, they're married, this, that. Yeah, fine. But it's her. The decision sits with her. Okay? Not Triple H. She's not going to inherit the kingdom. And he's not this. He does a lot of good things, Triple H, behind the curtains. I'll give him that. Talk about a guy maybe who plays his role too good on TV. He seems to be very well liked by the young wrestlers. He likes to give advice and he likes to coach. That I'll give him. He's done it so far. He has done a good job with NXT, but let's not give him all this credit. Yeah, he's managed it smoothly. He has a lot of writers on NXT. Michael Hayes, this guy, that guy. He's had Dusty Rhodes writing NXT shows. He has a lot of help. And like I said, forget this fantasy about Triple H becoming the savior of wrestling. He's setting up the future for WWE. The future's been laid down already. Oh, boy. All right, the final segment. I talked about this in the last. I tried to talk about this in the last episode of Talk Wrestling with Jimmy Frank. The D.Ambrose StoneCold Podcast with D.Ambrose this past Monday. Like I said, I didn't watch it live. There was a lot of the common trend buzzword I kept seeing online was it was awkward at times. What I came away with is Dean Ambrose. He pretty much is the guy you see on TV. Okay, always ramped up. When he's out there, the volume's turned up, and those make the best characters. That's why he connects. Stone Cold, and early on, asked him about his childhood, growing up. He was a little. It was what I took away from it is Ambrose, Jonathan Good. That's his real name. He was a wild kid. He quit school at an early age. Whatever. He was a street kid. He marched to the beat of his own drum. Nothing that should be a role model. Okay, you could tell at times you could tell he never went to school from his speech. He's not that articulate. So that was some awkward parts at the beginning. The other interesting things were when he shot on Brock. And first of all, these podcasts, the StoneCold Podcast, is not a shoot. Okay, it's a shoot format, but it's a work shoot. Okay, they edit out shit, they cut it up, they bleep shit out. If you look, you know what's awkward, and not that it has anything to do. Stone Cold every 5 seconds is looking at the producer off camera. I don't know what the producer's telling him, whether he's telling him to move on or he's giving him the high sign, or I don't know. But that looked awkward. It's like every time Ambrose was talking, it was like, and he looks. It was like, is he saying something wrong? Is something going on? Or what the hell? Why does Steve keep looking at the producer? Or why does the producer keep trying to get Steve's attention? It's a shoot, right? But anyway, the one interesting thing is he shot on Brock Lesnar. They brought up the WrestleMania match, and Ambrose said he came out there pissed off. And then Stone Cold said, why? And he said, well, I was pissed off at the beginning, but then he got invigorated because, he got pissed off because he wanted to do a lot with the match. He had creative ideas, and he said, I was pushing this on that, and that guy, and nobody bit. And then he said, Brock didn't want to do anything artistically. And he said, Brock's about Brock. Hey, listen, Dean, either you're not letting on or you're in the dark. You were being buried at WrestleMania. That match between Brock and Dean Ambrose was never intended to be anything. All that was a suplex. All that match was another Suplex City episode. Okay? It's all it was meant to be. And I'll tell you why. If you go back, look, they had the Suplex City counter on the bottom of the screen. What do you think? They just put that up on the go? They said, oh, well, let's put that graphic. No, that was pre-planned. The match was like, what, 7-8 minutes? And he's complaining that he went up to Brock and he's got to, and Brock didn't want to do that. Listen, don't you? Maybe the producers or directors, the higher ups, went to Brock because Brock is the senior guy and told him, listen, just go out there, suplex the shit out of him, and that's it. You got 7-8 minutes. He ain't doing much. Don't give him that much. I doubt Brock Lesnar had the foresight, and now Brock is a heel amongst wrestling fans, online wrestling fans. They call him lazy. Lazy. Have you watched his matches? The guy, every time he wrestles, he pretty much steals the show. That match at WrestleMania was not. It never meant to be anything but what it was. It was a filler. And it wasn't meant for Dean Ambrose to do anything except get suplexed 14 times. And then another interesting thing was he mentioned he was on Raw and he did a spot with Seth Rollins and the crowd erupted and the crowd went nuts, and that's when he knew that he had something and he was going to do something and he was going to go on a run. And he relayed the story about how he went backstage and some producer he didn't mention, and then they bleeped it out. Said, "Oh, gee whiz, you might just go get over." And he was like, "What?" See that's what I've been screaming my head off. Dean Ambrose, they didn't see Dean Ambrose as the main guy. Yes, he was popular, but they didn't see him as a main guy. That's why he got the belt last. And don't kid yourself. He only got the WWE Championship because they pulled the plug on Roman. That's it. Because Roman failed in his role. Not suspension, wellness policy. That's a bunch of baloney. They took the belt off for Roman because he was getting booed everywhere, consistently, and it wasn't getting better. It was only getting worse. But yeah, I said it again. Going into WrestleMania in Dallas this year, Dean Ambrose was the most popular performer in the company. He overshadowed Roman Reigns. That's why they teamed. Dean was Roman Reigns' shadow going up to WrestleMania. So so Roman wouldn't get booed on TV and on pay-per-views. But then the conversation from that was Steve Austin said Seth Rollins had the belt, Roman Reigns had the belt. Now, you were the only guy out of the Shield who didn't have the belt. How did you feel about that? And he said, "Oh, I'm not going to say I was sabotaged, but left to my own devices." Now, what do you think? I mean, see, this is what I mean. He's not going to say he was sabotaged. He's not. It's not a shoot interview. This is in front of Vince McMahon and the director Kevin Dunn. What does that mean? Just do your own detective work. He tells a story about the producer who came running out after the huge crowd reaction. Said, "By God, you just might get over." That means they never thought he would get over or had it in him. He never got the title. How many matches did he win on pay-per-view before Money in the Bank? He never won he would never win the big one on pay-per-view. So that's what I got, and then the last then he mentioned joking around. Stone Cold asked him his relationship with Vince McMahon. He said his relationship is great. They're tight. They're boys. They had just spoken for 45 minutes the night before. He jokingly said that Vince is he's Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler. He said it on camera. That could be okay. That doesn't mean that he's going to hold the title for 2 years. Maybe he just has a real good relationship, a good rapport with Vince. That's good. That's a good thing. And what was I going to say? I forgot. I had a really good point to make. I'm going to forget. Oh, and then Stone Cold told him, "You're the WWE champ," and he laid down a challenge for him, saying, "I want you to step up your game. I want you to amplify everything. Don't rest on your laurels." And Dean, I don't know, maybe he was confused. He was trying to say that maybe he misinterpreted that Stone Cold told him maybe he's getting lazy now that he has the belt. Then he caught himself and said, "Oh, I understand what you're saying. Getting to the top is one thing. Staying on top is another." And Stone Cold was like, "Right, dummy." But as far as challenging Austin challenging him to up his game and bring it and bring out the D.Ambrose that the fans want to see and the fans know he's capable of. His reply was, "I'm trying. I try. I try to pitch this, pitch that. I try to push the envelope, but it's like pushing mountains." Okay, so that tells you another thing. He's got handcuffs. The one thing, and I'm going to end it now with briefly. They talked about promos when he was in NXT practicing promos. He thought it was he thought it was fake, that there was actually scripted promos in WWE. And he says he cut a promo. It was pretty funny. He could basically says he could off the top of his head, he could talk about anything, anytime, anything, anywhere. But if you hand him a piece of paper, he can't remember 3 lines. Listen, some people need the lines. Some people are good off the top of their head. Like me, I can't shut up, right? I keep filibustering with these little videos. But anyway, that's it. Yeah, I know. I'm going too long. Listen, sometimes we're fans of these guys, and I always have to say in every video, we have to manage our expectations, okay? Stop banging your head against the wall. Stop trying to fight City Hall on everything. It's wrestling. You win some, you lose some. And I mean that with your favorites. I'll say it again. It's okay to cheer your favorites, but sometimes you have to take the blinders off and see what reality is and what fantasy is. That's why they make video games, 2K17 now. Okay, that's for fantasy. All right. If anybody's watches this, watch this. Thank you. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. I'm going to try to make as many videos as possible. Hopefully, they'll be interesting. So, take care.